Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Industrial Faith. Welcome to the channel. I am putting together a video for you labeled the 24 suggested changes for Fallout 4. Get a move on there, Brahmin. I have played over 200 hours of this game, and I absolutely love this game. I think it's fantastic and wonderful. But I do think there need to be some changes for gameplay and quality of life, and for, well, lack of a better term, common sense. So I will be reading off these off of a piece of paper or my Nook, and so occasionally...
Looking for trouble, I hope.
No, I'm just standing in front of the gate, actually. And so occasionally I'll pause to collect my thoughts and reread my notes. So, without further ado, let's see what we can do to make Fallout a better game, shall we? Now, as you can see, I have this big, giant wall that's fantastic.
The Institute is gone, we can finally start to work on making the Commonwealth a better place for our kids.
And you know what? That's exactly what this video is about, making the Commonwealth a better place. Now, the very first suggestion, number one, that I have is, if we go into build mode, is free camera. As you notice, to build, you are sort of stuck. And you actually have to run around as a character and build stuff. And this can lead to problems because even if you use the E key to move things around, you can still fall off stuff and end up in the water and get irradiated. And then you have to run around and do other things like that. So what the game needs is, and it should have been from vanilla. I mean, I understand why they do it, so you sort of have a sense of you're actually building stuff. But you actually it needs to go to a free camera mode. And that should have been in since vanilla, and it wasn't. Don't know why, but it was. Number two, the build zone, which I just turned off because I'm a derp, should be, go away turret, toggleable. See this wall right here? As you can see, normally it's a wall in the V screen, and this wall actually obscures whatever you're trying to look at the base. This needs to be toggleable between a wall and a line. So I should be able to see a wall like this, absolutely right here, and at the same time I should be able to hit a key, maybe an F key, and it turns into a line on the ground like this. Now this is here because it's kind of the line, it's a little weird, but it should be like this because when you're trying to build up directly against the line, which you have to do in some places to make it work, like here, you can't actually see where the base of these things are, and it gets a little weird. So number three is the tile sets. Now the tile sets do a pretty good job as they stand right now, but we really only have two tile sets. We have a wood tile set and a metal tile set. And these all have, the prefabs are interesting, but kind of silly. You're typically going to use these and build them on your own. And as you see, they kind of rotate, and you can see how they work. The problem being, there's no quality. There's no difference in tile sets. So the tile sets need to be expanded. Like this is the only thing I'll ever build a wall out of. Is that steel tile set, because the rest look like crap. They do. That's just the way it is. And we need more tile sets, and we need cleaner tile sets. This is what I always build all my buildings out of right here. And if we go over here, I'll even show you my little, I don't use the house as much. If we look, the farmer's barracks that I've built uses that same steel because it actually looks like a building. And I did the same thing for the bottom because none of the wood tile sets look any good. If we go into the wood tile sets for walls specifically, now the floors, you've got some high quality. This is a high quality wall. This is a fantastic wall. But if we go into the walls, oh, okay, that's not bad. These are okay. They all look like these are interesting, and they look kind of janky, whatever. I do like these alcoves. I think the little balcony alcoves are kind of neat. These connector things are a nightmare to use. This is neat. The half walls are fun. This is a decent wall. This is an okay wall, but this is a crap wall. But here's a solution. If you go into the perk lists, you have all the crafting stuff, right? And my perks are a little different. I've downloaded a mod for it. I've downloaded a bunch of mods. But if you get armorer and blacksmith, and you get science and gun nut, these are your big crafting ones. And maybe you could even include some scrapper. That would be pretty good. But if you take those and when they combine, they form a quality perk. Let's say you don't have any crafting set up at all. So you end up with this guy, right? Bang. He's terrible. He looks gross. But that's what you have. It'll stop people, but you can shoot through. At least you should be able to shoot through. I don't know if you can. So maybe the next level of quality, you graduate to something like this with a lot less holes. And then maybe the final level, you get the cleaner tile sets that actually look like you're... Wow. It's like the Kool-Aid man. He busted through. Oh, yeah. So you get the final tile sets that actually look like they were built by someone who knows their way around a hammer, which is kind of what this steel one looks like. If we go to the wall, and we go all the way over here. By the way, some of these are so terrible they don't match. The water gets through. But this actually looks like someone knows what they're doing. Almost. But it's not solid, but it's solid enough to work. And I think that needs to be done. There needs to be several levels in building quality, so to speak. And maybe you need to add local leader or something. But I think this needs to be done, and it'll also kind of make the different crafting perks a little more attractive, and I'll cover that later. Number 4 is you really need to reduce the clipping on items needs to be reduced quite a bit, in fact. Specifically, if we go here to fences, I thought I'd pick at fences. Did I read the book? I swore I found the book. Anyways, junk fences. Cool gate, bro. But these guys, let's just build one. I'll build one. I shouldn't, but whatever. So if you notice, these stanchion support rods clip with other walls. So if you want to do this, look how they're clipping. They won't place because they're clipped. If you turn them, and so you have a gap in the wall, now you can place them. But you've got a gap. There's like this gap in the wall. Why would you want that? So the clipping on these needs to be reduced so that you can do something like, oh, I don't know. Let's find it up. Something like this. Wait a minute. There we go. Why can't I put them together like this and make like, I mean, this almost looks like, if you look at it, it looks like the tire is actually kind of holding the two parts together. That's kind of cool. I should be able to do that. So the clipping needs to be reduced on a lot of the tile sets. Now the next one's going to be a little bit different. Actually, I still need to keep that open. I apologize. If you look in the upper right-hand corner, happiness is going down. I don't care. If you look in the upper right-hand corner where it says size, look at all this stuff I've built. I've got that big giant, why can't you see the big giant tower? There it is. I built this big giant tower. I have a wall that stretches all the way around settlement. I've built walls everywhere. I've got a big giant bar. I've got stores. I've got different cool plants for a tile set. This is the only crafting mod I really have because I wanted to put my planters. I wanted to build planters. That's something else that should be part of the mod or part of the... Look, I'll be honest. I think there's a big settlement DLC coming because you can see a lot of cool basic framework, but there's a lot missing. And there really could be a lot cooler stuff, but I'm putting it forth anyways. So normally I wouldn't have been able to build all this at all if I didn't increase my settlement size in the upper right hand corner. I actually had to download a bat file from the Nexus that increased my the items I could have in my settlement by a lot. Now I have a very beefy computer, and my computer can handle a lot of things. Excuse me. But I'm not running a console. I can run a PC, so I should be able to... The system should auto-detect how much memory you've selected for your game, and you can select more memory for your game using the INI files, and let you build accordingly, and it doesn't. Excuse me. So this is something I think it needs to be optimized, and I'm on a PC. Yes, I've repeated that about 18 times, I realize. So this is something that needs to be changed as well. Number 6, settlement UI concerning settlers. Now, the next couple are very related. So let's grab somebody here. Let's go grab Mr. Nick Valentine, who is the second best companion by a very small amount. For me, it's a contest between him and Deacon. But Nick Valentine has the better overall experience, but Deacon is far more entertaining to venture with. So if I want to put him, let's say, this is my scrapper. See here? I'm going to mouse over, and you can see over here, you can see there's something lights up. That's her job. That's the only way I know she even has a job, other than I picked her specifically because she looks rough and tough and ready to go out and do stuff in the wasteland. So I made her a scavenger / scrapper. So this is our scavenging state. Here's the other guy. I just did it because he's got a hat. No, I don't know. I picked him because he was somebody that I could grab. I have no way outside of that, because you have to look at him and point, of knowing these are their jobs. I have no way of knowing. There needs to be an interface UI where I can select a settler and, click and be like a drop-down menu. No job selected. And then I should be able to select a job for them. So if I want someone to farm, I select them. Maybe I hit the E for command. Let's go find him. We'll hit the E for command, and it brings up a drop-down menu. And what I can do with that is I then say, it'll show me jobs, or it'll show me workstations that are unoccupied. And I can select that. Oh, they need a scrapper. Bang, they need a scrapper. And I should be able to do that. I shouldn't have to run around. In fact, I should just be able to, there should be a button that allows me to go ahead and select. There should be a settler management button. So that goes to number 7. A way around that is instead to use the AI. Yes, you be careful with that pipe rifle. That thing's loaded. The other way around it is to allow me as the player to craft an occupational kit, a job kit. So let's say I want someone to be a scrapper. So I have to find a scrapper. It's going to be a blowtorch, maybe a specific set of clothes, and I don't know, a tool. And I can combine those in, say, a workbench and create a scrapper job kit. And then what I do is I put that in their inventory, and that's their job. They go ahead and do it. And they'll wander over it kind of the same way that unoccupied settlers will work the food here. If I have an unoccupied scavenging station, I can put someone on, I can make someone a scrapper, a scavenger. It's the same way, and the AI will automatically go, okay, they need to work here, as sort of a tag. And that may be a way around sort of another UI thing. So next, and somewhat related, is more jobs for settlers. This is number 8, more jobs for settlers. I should be able to assign settlers to specific workstations, as we can for the scavenging station, as we can for the vending stations, and as we can for the food and the defense stations, only to other jobs. Maybe I get more advanced scrapping station that allows for higher quality scrap to be discovered. Maybe when somebody's using it, they produce more scrap, or maybe they only collect scrap. Maybe they collect higher versions of scrap, and then say we take them. I should be able to assign someone to an armor workbench, and let's say I fill a workbench full of junk and have them break it down, and I should be able to assign jobs. I should be able to have someone cook whatever food's in there, and if the scavengers find food, they cook them. Same with the chemistry station. I can either put raw materials in there, or I can just assign and say random scrap, etc. So, and to be honest, not being able to have someone cook, it doesn't feel like there's a lot of, how do I put it? There's no sense that everyone's surviving and really sharing and working together. Maybe there could be an ammo table where somebody slowly creates ammo based on scrap, things like that. And along with that is number 9. Settlers should have skills. Now, we do know, and I'm going to run back over here again, we do know that there's very specific sort of NPCs that have better selling skills, and if you put them in something, they'll sell something better. Like I've got the Vault Tech guy. I don't want to get too close. He'll talk to me again because he's weird and kind of clingy. So he's supposedly a better vendor for this guy, I think. I don't know. I just put him in there because I could. So every settler, I should be able to along with the settler management, I should be able to go ahead and select them and see what skills they have. I should see their special tree. I should see their skills. And so I can assign them better. And for that matter, if, let's say I've got a Brotherhood of Steel NPC, maybe they'll be better at defense. Maybe if I get, maybe Mr. Handy's better at cooking. Or, maybe if I get an Institute guy, a refugee from the Destruction Institute, maybe they're a good doctor. Hello, rain. Nary a cloud in the sky. And, if I get a Minuteman, they're good at defense, or they're good at farming. The railroad, good at scrapping. Stuff like that. There should be a way, there should be more for that, for skills and so forth. Number 10, settlers have needs for hardcore survival mode. Okay, this is more of kind of a goofy thing, but if you go into the hardcore survival mode, you should actually have to feed your settlers at that point. There should actually be sort of a pool, and maybe you have to build, maybe there's a new station called the pantry. And it's, maybe you can build 2 or 3 pantries, so that way not everybody has to run to a central place. And so that way, people have a place to get. How do you guys get on the roof? There's not a ladder up. These guys I've got Spider-Man, 2 Spider-Mans. That's amazing. I'm not going to look at them because they're creeping me the hell out. So maybe we've got a pantry and a water distillation plant. I mean, I've got a big one over here, but what if I put a water distillation plant? What if I have to put someone on it to maintain the food and so forth? Oh yeah, here's my artillery. I love this guy. So here's an example. This guy permanently mans the artillery. This is the kind of specific crafting station that is necessary. Now, this is obviously a plot item. Obviously, I went with the Minuteman because I can do all kinds of stuff with this. And hey, yo, I've got a big goddamn cannon in the middle of my settlement. It's fantastic. And I've dressed him in a defender kit. But that's what so with the, again, sorry, I'm getting distracted. So with the hardcore, you can distribute food. And like a lot of settlement games, you can actually dictate how much food people are allowed to take based on how much food you have and how much water. So I've got 40 water. I've got 20 settlers. I can very easily provide maximum food and water for everyone. Not a big deal. All right, well, 17 food. That also means I'm getting some food from other settlements. But at the same time, I could supply everyone with 1 daily ration of food. Or 1 day's worth of food, and that's every day. But, again, if I've got farmers and they actually have to harvest it, how's that work for your hardcore survival, eh? Sounds pretty cool. I really like that. That sounds like a good idea. Now, number 11, provisioners should be enhanced. Currently, provisioners are just a link for buildings. Let's go and open up the Pip-Boy. We'll go to our map, and we'll go C for show supply lines. This is how provisioners are now. Right now, all they do is they link food, and they link water, and they link junk for building. Well, what if we could do more? What if you could set provisioners for specific jobs? Excuse me, the phone's ringing. I don't know why. It's not even a phone that anybody knows the number for. I hate you telemarketers. Anyways, my apologies. So what if we could set up provisioners for specific jobs? What if I was making a whole crap diddly ton of food here? And I needed to run food to Outpost Zemunja. I thought I had more dudes there. I thought there were like 17 guys there. What happened? Maybe I'm hallucinating. Yeah, there used to be 17 guys there. Whatever. So I could send food and water there. I could set up a provisioner, and the provisioner sends the normal stuff. And at the same time, I say only send this much food and water. Okay. So that way I could actually set up a big farming settlement. Let's say like Grey Garden's fantastic. It's all robots, and I've got 6 dudes producing a crap ton of food. They make like 40 food. It's crazy. Let's go ahead and I'll show you how much food is being made there. Go to data workshops. You can see Grey Garden, Grey Garden, 31 food, 6 robots. That's all they're doing. And they also have 99 defense because I give them rocket launchers and junk like that because I'm a good overlord, local leader, whatever. Yeah, I thought they had more. Yeah, they had more, so I wonder what happened. I must have missed the defense mission. C'est la vie. Um, so, Grey Garden, I could, if I put down more food, I could have more food grown, and then I could have provisioners actually taking them to other places and do it specifically. And maybe I could and I'd like to be able to take that food overload and create caravans. Or, along with the settlers having other jobs and doing other crafting stations, why couldn't I make specific food items and say go down here to Diamond City and sell food down in Diamond City? What about the Cambridge Police Station, which is a Brotherhood of Steel outpost? Why couldn't I have, admittedly, Cambridge is full of ghouls, and, well, there were raiders, but the ghouls ate them. So why couldn't I run, say, a caravan down here and supply the 3 Brotherhood of Steel guys? But later game, there's a lot more. I could do Diamond City. I could run it to Diamond City. I could run it to Bunker Hill. Where'd Bunker Hill go? Not the technical high school. I could run it to Good Neighbor. Things like that. You know, I should be able to run caravans and actually sell products. And if my guys are making junk, why couldn't I have my settlers making guns? And I could be a gun runner. You know, stuff like that. You know, and I should be able to, and maybe there'll be like calls for it. Maybe Diamond City will say, hey, we need food and water, and I can send it to them. I can set up a contract. And along with that, I should be able to see the routes that they're taking. Yeah, we're getting to Outposts of Manja. How are they getting there? Because I know for sure there's usually like bugs. And like if we go here, yeah, they got to go past this satellite station, Olivia, which is, if you must know, raiders pop up there. I thought I cleared that. I'm going to have to go back and clear it again. So they go there, and 10 Pines Bluff, again, empty. But what route are they taking? And what dangers are there? I should be able to see what routes they're taking and see the dangers. You know, if there's a raider thing. And so that way I can either hire caravan guards of varying qualities for varying prices. For example, Wastelanders for 5 caps a trip. Or if we go caravan guards, maybe 10 to 15 caps a trip because they're the medium range guys. And maybe I could hire some not so disreputable gunners. You know, some of the nicer ones, if there are such a thing, to go ahead and provide caravan security for me. And maybe it's a repeating cost, etc., etc. And of course, my going along, I can also wipe out the raiders as they go along, stuff like that. And along with the caravan guards, I should be able to hire factional guards if I'm friendly with them. For example, I could hire railroad guards to run the railroad, so to speak, which they'll be cheaper, they'll provide higher quality, but at the same time, they'll be using the running around as caravan guards to smuggle synths. So that way, my caravans would be covered for the railroad activities, but at the same time, they could get found out. My caravans could get attacked by synths. So there would be an advantage because they would be better guards, but they would have more risk. The Institute, I could run them, provided I'm friendly with them, but I'd have to worry about individual Brotherhood of Steel running around, etc., etc. Minutemen, they're the most neutral faction. It doesn't matter. They're just going to have to deal with raiders and so forth. The Brotherhood of Steel would automatically be more expensive, but they're also going to be right up there with the gunners. And if you're friendly with them, that's fantastic. Along with that, number 12 should be settlement missions that aren't Minuteman missions. And you know what I mean by that. If you're doing the Minuteman thing, you're doing it with Preston Garvey, and the settlements are on fire. There is never an ending attack, and it never, ever, ever ends. And it gets to the point, I just ignore them after a while. And I'm the Minuteman faction, and I'm ignoring them straight outright because that's all I'll do constantly. I will put out fires. I am the fire truck. Excuse me. Get a drink of water. It reminds me of the game Spore. If you ever played the game Spore, there's four levels of gameplay. And you go all the way to the final one, which is supposed to be the big one. It's you in a spaceship, and you're supposed to be doing stuff. You're the only guy with a spaceship who can fight for your vast, giant, intergalactic empire. Nobody else. And it's the same way here. You know, I often get fights at the Slog. The Slog has a lot of defenses. Let's look at the Slog, in fact. I love the slug. The slug has 113 defenses, which is very easily twice the recommend, because you're supposed to have double the defense, right? It doesn't. They still get kidnapped and stuff like that. But at the same time, for settlement missions that aren't Minuteman missions, settlements should only have missions that deal in the immediate area. They should only be the same level as stuff in the immediate area, like stuff around Outpost Zimonja is going to be slightly more dangerous, barely, than 10 Pines Bluff, which is going to be slightly more dangerous than Red Rocket. And for something like, if we go down here to, like if we go down here to Somerville Place, holy cow, this is going to be crazy dangerous missions, but it should be. It's the South. And they're also surrounded by, nasty guys and stuff. So, but you should also, so if somebody gets kidnapped, the guy should also be right in the area. If they want you to clear something, it should be right in the area. You shouldn't have a 10 Pines Bluff quest at Kendall Hospital. It shouldn't happen. I mean, it should be at or General Atomics. Well, not there, of course, but like near the flight, the cemetery, Bedford Stations, stuff like that. These should all be threats in the area. And that goes for kidnapping. And let's be honest. Super mutants shouldn't be taking hostages. Super mutants don't go to a settlement and go, give us person, and then give money later, get person back. No. You know what super mutants do? Super mutants show up and go, thank you for lunch. That's what super mutants do. They grab someone, they're in the cook pot an hour later. Super mutants should not do hostage missions ever. Even the one with Red from Fallout 3, that was a bit chancy, but you had the idea that they had a lot more people to eat, and thus Red and the other guy were just last. Oops, spoiler. So with the other one, settlement security radius. We'll just go ahead and hit this again so we can see. There should be a radius around a settlement based on their defense level and how many people you have defending it. The more people you have as defenders, the bigger the radius. That should keep things from respawning. Except for perhaps raids. So you can still get raids because raids are kind of moving, but you shouldn't get, if you have a security radius, things shouldn't spawn, except animals. Like, okay, let's go here to 10 Pines Bluff. What's in the area? What's the defense radius? And if you've got two outposts next to each other, perhaps their defense radius could merge together and increase, because this is security, right? So maybe the USAF satellite station Olivia won't respawn with raiders, because it's got raiders right now, and I think I'm going to have to, immediately after this video, I'm going to have to go clear it out, because that's good. I love this little place. Like at the Bedford Station. So, with the exception of migratory enemies, animals and ghouls, because ghouls apparently travel in packs and wander around. Not that I've ever seen it, but apparently it happens. So things like wild dogs and the various bugs, but you wouldn't have like, rad roaches don't run around in packs, mole rats don't. So things that are typically mobile, not really so much rat scorpions, but like Yao Guai might. Deathclaw certainly would. An alpha predator of that side needs a lot of food and will range very far and wide. This is a basic of biology. So the defense radius should be there. And so if there's and one of the things that can happen is raiders can pop up depending on the defense, your security radius. So if your security radius is really good and let's say raiders move in, they're going to be tough. It's going to be a big fight, but again, sort of the level area. And that's something that can be tweaked. So number 14. Let's go back to settlers. And let's go back to skills and so forth. And that probably should have been put in there. So let's go look at my scavenger here.
If you work, you eat.
Great.
It's
so
as simple as that.
That's great. I want to trade.
I just need to trade gear with you.
There we go.
Okay.
So this is all I can do. All I can do is give her stuff. Do I have anything to give her? Do you want anything? Can I give you anything? Patrolman sunglasses. No, those are mine. You don't get the Child Squire uniform. Yes, it's from a mod. Shush, don't ask. I can't actually see what she's good at. I should be able to see what they have available, and at the same time, I should be able to use the recruitment beacon to dictate what kind of settlers I want. If I need more farmers, there should be an interface right here that I go click, and I should, be able to select immigration. I should be able to select open immigration. I should be able to select tech. I should, and there should be various levels. I should be able to pick, let's say, specialists. And I should be able to pick farmers or robotics or etc. or factional. There's absolutely no reason I shouldn't be able to, especially after the end game, there's no reason I shouldn't be able to pick, like, let's say I destroyed the Brotherhood of Steel. Now, obviously, if I've destroyed, they're not going to want to come work for me, but maybe they can. Maybe they were disgruntled to begin with. And the Institute has a lot of refugees who need a place to live. So maybe I can pull someone here. But at the same time, I should be able to click on a settler and assign them a job based on their skills, including their special abilities at the same time. So, for example, I should be able to buy robots, for example, as a settler. If I want robots to work my garden, like Grey Gardener should be able to pick up robots, and they don't take up a settler slot. But in order to do it, I'll need a settler with the robotics skill. Not him. He just shoots stuff. So I need to ask for a settler with a robotics skill. So I put that up in immigration. And of course, if I have robots, I'll also have to build the ancillary equipment. I'll have to build a robot send scrappers out specifically for robot parts. There's a lot of interconnected webs that could be woven through the whole settlement thing. And also, I think there should be slavers. Get off the roof, you monkeys. Slavers should be reintroduced as a faction. Because I should be able to buy slaves. Perhaps once you get past a certain level, maybe there's an event you can do, and a little quest, a miscellaneous quest. You hear something about, a slaver park over there. And you go somewhere, and you, instead of killing all slavers, you make nice with them, like the old Paradise Hills, or Paradise Falls. You didn't have to walk in and kill every slaver. You could actually just walk in and buy slaves. Now, you had to be a specific alignment to do so, but it should be the same. And I should be able to buy slaves with the appropriate faction and companion relationship hit. Guarantee. The super mutant's not going to care if I have slaves. I don't know if Cogsworth? Whatever. Hollingsworth, Tyler Durden, whatever his name is. I'm sure he won't care. Valentine would care. But at the same time, I should be able to do it. So I could that way, and I could maybe put a bounty up for the slavers. Go get me someone who knows robots. So they go out, get me someone who knows robots. I pay the bounty, I get a slave. So I think that'd be really interesting. I could build plantations and be hated by my neighbors because everybody likes that. Let's go to another one here. Number 15, settlement affiliation. I should be able, based on where I am in the game and who I've made nice with, I should be able to affiliate a settlement with a faction or none at all. For example, this playthrough I pretty much ignored the Brotherhood of Steel completely. It's kind of hilarious and causes all kinds of weird quest bugs, especially after the completion of the pseudo endgame, which is something I'm going to put up in a later video about how much I've hilariously broken a bunch of Brotherhood of Steel quests. Regardless, there's a settlement down here, and if you make nice with the Brotherhood of Steel, you can build a settlement here. This is the most heavily defended settlement ever, and I should be able to. First off, it should have a defense rating like 500, because the entire Brotherhood of Steel is hanging out. Right here at the airport, pardon me. Water. So, with that being said, I would affiliate this one with the Brotherhood of Steel, and that would mean I could hire Brotherhood of Steel. I could hire Brotherhood of Steel people to do stuff. Seriously. So, for example, Brotherhood of Steel would be better defenders, and they'd be good at fabricating and scrapping. Let's say I've made nice with the Institute, and I could run Institute, or at the very least, I could make it like an Institute refugee site. I could make a refugee camp for the Institute guys after we've done our dirty work with the Institute and blowed them the heck up. Which isn't here anymore, which is too bad. Is it right here? Yeah. Alas, I've never gone back. I need to go see the crater. Anyways, for example, they would be... they would. I could hire synths. I could buy synths instead of robots, which again wouldn't provide a settler count, but I would need somebody with the robotics perk to run, or the synths controller, mechanic, whatever, to keep them maintained and build the charging equipment and so forth. And perhaps they would also provide the top tier medics for my little clinic. The Minutemen would probably be better farmers and scrappers and I don't know, farmers, scrappers, and maybe they could get me access to Robco models like the Mr. Handy and the Miss Nurse. Wow. Excuse me. Wow. Nice. Oh, that was terrible. Rolled a 2 on that one. So the railroad could provide third generation synths, but again, you would have greater chance of attack by Institute. Greater attacks by the Institute until you take care of the Institute, and after that, it's a non-issue. And perhaps they could provide good defenders as well. Now, it'd be interesting if you could do a Raider affiliation with the settlement. Like, for example, Sunshine Tidings Co-op, you've got a connected Raider base right here. And I know it's a spoiler. There's a door in Lonely Chapel that leads you into the back of this area right here, but it's full of Raiders. So perhaps Sunshine Tidings could be Raider affiliated. And that would provide, I don't know, Raider stuff. Who knows? You need less food because everyone's slaves, etc. You could, maybe you could apply, you could have like a Raider manager or something. I don't know exactly how you do that, but wouldn't that be a kick-ass DLC where they introduce a 5th faction? Remember in New Vegas, if you've never played New Vegas, they had 4 factions that could win. You had the Legion, the NCR, and House. And there was a 4th faction that was essentially a quest line, and it was sort of no gods and no masters, where nobody got the Hoover Dam, except for a very awesome psychotic robot named... Gosh, what was he named? Yes Man. So this could be a 5th faction where you kick the crap out of all the other factions, and then you rule the Commonwealth with an iron fist. Come on, tell me that wouldn't be a kick-ass DLC. That would be fantastic. And as you go through, you make all these little Raider settlements. Or you build a settlement gets built, and they can fight you, or they pop up on their own. That would be a kick-ass DLC. I'm telling you, and you know it too. Don't doubt me. Yeah, it's a little bit, we want to be Raider kings and queens. Yes, absolutely. So again, back to the defense. I kind of touched on it. Defense ratings for guard towers. Let's go back into the building menu. Of course, there's so many ways to get to different menus. Go back in. So if we go into the guard towers here, boom, 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 defenses, and you see there's a guard post does 2, and the guard tower does 2 as well, which is silly. They both provide the same amount of defense. This one is obviously better. It's got stairs. It's taller. Bigger is better. Shush. Although this one I can use to block fences, block holes in shrubs better. You know what I mean. So, turrets provide a defense rating, which is sort of the overall, but these guys are actually inconvenient. They can't move around, while your guys can. Active settlers assigned to the defensive emplacements, and there should be more defensive emplacements. I'd love to be able to build a pillbox. Are you kidding me? They should increase the defense radius of the settlement, like we talked about in the map, and at the same time, this should be produces 2 defense per settler assigned. Currently, defenses are set up like gardening. You can defend. You assign each settler you assign to defense can I think can do 6 defense worth of items. So they can do 3 guard towers of whatever or guard posts. It should be for every settler you put on guard duty, it increases the amount of defense produced, and that is because, and there should be a cap though. I mean, you shouldn't have like 20 guys for 1 guard tower. That'd be silly. But there should be a cap. But what it does is, because it's a roving patrol, they're able to do more. They're able to actually provide more defense than a fixed emplacement, than a fixed turret. These are actually undervalued because, frankly, if someone's on guard duty, they don't shop in your stores. If someone's a farmer, they don't shop in your stores. Your stores make money, according to everything I've seen and everything I've read, based on how many people are idle, wandering around. Apparently, they just pick up caps off the ground. I mean, they're really good at scrapping, I guess. So that way they can really boost up the defenses of a town. Anyways, just kind of my thought on defense. I think that's really the way it should be. Because frankly, this makes it far more attractive to use turrets and so forth, and they're kind of silly. You made it, trader! Fantastic. And that's of course. I'll probably get in trouble for showing that. Anyways, so on to the next one. 17 powered crafting stations. This is a no-brainer because crafting stations. Okay, this is a drill press. This requires power. This is a lathe. An electric lathe such as this requires power. What's this thing? This is a buffer wheel grinding wheel. Requires power. This is a vise. Does not require power. And it's hand cranked. This is a drill press. Again, requires power. This looks like to be some sort of butane acetylene welding kit. Still requires power. That's your lunch. Another vise. Does not require power. I don't know what these chains are for in the back, but whatever. Let's look at this guy. Probably pneumatic pressure, but at the same time, it probably also fire, easy to do. Apparently, you put cigarettes in there. This is an industrial strength sewing machine, requires power. If you've ever sewn leather, and I have, and you're not doing it with a pair of pliers and a really big ass needle, and some patience, you need one of these guys. I've sewn leather by hand. It's a biatch, and you can do it. But this is a godsend if you're sewing leather. And there's a little thing to foot operate it, etc., etc. If I recall, this is kind of a heat treating process. Maybe? I don't know. Regardless, these all require power. Maybe not that one, but these require power. And if you build the kitchen, it requires power too. So what there should be is, okay, this automatically has power. Let's not worry about that. But this guy here, first off, there should be different levels of crafting. There should be different levels of crafting tables available, and they should all require a different level of power, and they should all be able to build. The higher your crafting table, the more power it takes, the better mod you can build. And that's how these guys should be. That's just the way it should be. It should work. Mama Murphy is doing what she does best, begging for chems. Now, number 18 is the one that everybody can agree with. See, it says requires people? No, this is my bed. I should be able to claim beds and chairs as mine. See, this is my little reading area. I need to work on the bobblehead collection and more magazines. Oh, this is my power armor selection. Hello, gorgeous. That was a lot of them. 6 of them. Hey! Now, these should be powered as well. I mean, you've got electric winches and junk. So, yeah, this would be a huge power drain and potentially foolish, but since it's not powered, I don't have to. Damn it. Every once in a while, you will come in and there'll be some slack-jawed yokel settler sleeping in your frickin' bed. No, mine. I built all this. Do you see this? Do you see this? This is mine. I should at least be able to claim a bed. I mean, really, come on, seriously? Yeah, and this is me being dumb, by the way. I originally put the big power pylon up because I was tired and I thought it was one of these. So, yeah, waste of resources. Go me. So that's basically the settlement. That's 18 settlement items. The next one, we're actually going to go into crafting. And if you'll excuse me, I'm going to pause to blow my nose. All right, thank you for your patience. Now, the next part's going to be crafting, and specifically, it's going to have to deal with weapons crafting. Sturgis, get the hell out of here. You don't have a motorcycle. You shouldn't have that name. So, first off, with the general crafting, I'm just going to kind of go through. You don't actually need crafting skills at all in this game. If you have a little bit of discipline in your gameplay skills, in your gameplay planning, you don't actually have to spend any points on crafting. Because, well, all you have to do is, I have a gun in my inventory. Oh, let's get out of here. Let's
I
craft.
should have done more.
Quit whining.
I
Well,
hope those raiders pay for what they've done.
yeah, they did. And they gave me money, and they'll be back next week to give me more money. For example, let's say I like this hardened combat rifle. And this works for armor as well as laser weapons and melee weapons. Let's say I don't have any levels in crafting. As you can see, I've got my things, my bullet hose, my alpha strike because double damage, full health, bad touch, sniper rifle. What else do you name a sniper rifle, right? That I just named. Remind me what it does. I don't use it in VATS.
We all
I
did
just
what we
liked
had
it.
to. I'm glad it's over, but
Yes.
I'm glad you're here.
Sure, Sturgis.
I've
So
been
anyways,
tinkering with this laser musket. I made a few custom modifications to it that I think you might
Life
like.
still ain't perfect, but we're
Here.
surviving.
Take it for a test drive.
and he just handed me something. Okay, this is again something else I'll go into in another video with companions. So, if I have no crafting skills, the only thing I have to do, let's say, okay, so I have a hardened receiver. I've already done this. All you have to do is build the basic standard receiver, which, as you can see, 1 adhesive, 2 gears, 3 oil, 2 screws, 2 springs. Far less than what you need for a hardened receiver. Okay, not a whole lot less, but less regardless. So, I build this, and this pops off as a mod. See, here we go. So, this is attached mod, because I've already built one, I've already done it. Bang. Okay, now it has a standard receiver. The hard receiver is now a mod. I have just taken and done this. And you can do it with anything. I can do it with the barrel, the stock, the magazine, the sight, which is silly because you can just remove those, and the bayonet. So, this makes the crafting skills unattractive because the same time that you are able to build these mods, they start dropping as loot. At least from what I've noticed. So, I only picked all these skills because I wanted I wanted them for the settlement defense. So what I think needs to be done with these, as I turn away, so what I think needs to be done with these is the level requirements need to be dropped by about 7 at the least to 10 levels. Because if you don't, there's no reason. And I'm going to do a no crafting run here in a while and see how it goes. But as long as you play carefully and smart, these mods are just nice. I mean, the extra damage is good, but you don't need them. And eventually you can buy them and get that much more powerful. You just have to wait until the appropriate level when they'll start dropping. But if they're earlier, you have an advantage and a reason to take them. And if we go back to one of the first things I mentioned, which one was that? That was number 3 with the different qualities. Then there'll be a better reason to take it. So, or what you should do is combine them. Or, even better, make some mods never drop as loot or available for sale. And that will automatically mean you need these. And that should be a reasonable thing. I mean, let's look at the I mean, okay. A 308, a 38 receiver. Where the heck are you going to find a 38 receiver for a rifle that natively, even though in the game it's 45 caliber, in real life this is based off the Browning automatic rifle, which was a 308. This thing should come in 308. I should only be able to build a 38 receiver if I have level 4 gun nut. I mean, really, because it's a mod that doesn't exist in real life. And if you're interested at all in firearms, there are actually, for example, for the AR-15, you can buy kits that caliber an AR-15 down to a 22 round. And it's a lot cheaper to fire and have fun because 5.56 rounds and are a little bit more expensive. Thank you, Obama, for that. By the way, the president is the best gun salesman ever. It's funny. The law of unintended consequences, no one is immune to it. Not even our president. So, whatever. So, that's what I think needs to be done with the basic crafting system. There needs to be more...
Stop complaining when there's nothing left to complain about.
Marcy, are you watching my video? Oh my gosh. Anyways, so next we need to go to actual firearms crafting itself. So let's get... This is the perfect one. This is the one I always use. They're always fantastic. The gun mod hierarchy, they're pretty silly. They've always said, they've said there's 700 different firearm configurations. The problem is, most of these are just higher damage versions of the others. Okay, look through it, you'll understand what I'm saying. You know, a heavy frame, they've got they've got better heavy frames. They've got better calibrated frames. They start putting in better automatics, and they start putting in armor piercing ability, which is not something a receiver should ever deal with. It doesn't make any sense. So instead of all these different levels, what they need to do is instead make essentially 3, maybe 4. You know, maybe they have a light frame, which is a high rate of fire. It's an automatic, highest rate of automatic there is. But there's very little recoil because it's a light receiver. It's not heavy. There's no mass holding it down to help with the recoil. And a heavy frame, lower rate of fire, still automatic, less recoil because it operates slower and you can pop, 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 pop,
Don't take
and so
offense to
forth.
Marcy. She's working through the loss in her own way.
Yeah, thanks, buddy. And then let's say the calibrated receiver, that's the semi-auto version, because that's going to give you more precise. It's as accurate or inaccurate as you are when you pull the trigger. So that's what
I'll try
this
to make
needs to be.
myself useful. No one wants to see a grown man feeling sorry for himself.
You're not useful if you're talking to me, Jackhole. Get out of here. So that's what they need, and those need to be sort of the basic receivers. And then to differentiate them, they need to be in the different calibers: 38, 45, and 308.
Yeah?
And that would actually make it so you have various gameplay styles, because the only way to really... I mean, this is a semi-auto receiver. This is a semi-auto receiver. Where's my auto receiver in 38? Why can't I build these?
Our little Sanctuary Revival project has really helped.
God.
It takes my mind off things.
See, stop making them so damn chatty. Get him away from me. Make him go do something. If I sign him to something, he doesn't do anything. Anyways, that's what needs to be done with these. To be honest, I'm pretty happy. Oops. Well, crap. I just got rid of my really good one. Okay. So
I know I'm not the only person here who's lost someone.
Here we go.
I just...
So, let's go. So, the barrels are good. I think the barrels look fantastic. They've done a good job. These are all very... Obviously, these are the... if I recall, yeah. These right here are all your standard barrels. A short barrel, a lighter barrel, and a longer barrel. Fantastic job. A long, light barrel. Great.
I wouldn't be very
short,
good company right now.
Excuse me. Short ported barrel and a long ported barrel. These are fantastic. Every single one of these barrels functions differently. Same with the stocks. Short stock, standard. Although I don't know why.
I need to be alone right now.
Excuse me. I really have to do something about this. Bethesda, for the love of... Oh, God, what did I do? For the love of God,
I'm gonna run some diagnostics.
Get these idiots out of here.
Take your time.
Go away. All right. See, this is what I have to do. This is what you have to do. You go here, E, command, go. And you can't pick him. So we're going to go back to the guns so I can forget. Come on, Bethesda, really? Same thing. So if we go back to the bullet hose, the stocks are fantastic. I've never seen this stock on a firearm. This should actually be like a pistol grip, and it would be cooler. Full stock, fantastic. Marksman stock, great. Better aim with scope sight should be for the semi-autos, and then recoil compensating. I love this stock. The magazines, fantastic as well. Standard, large, medium, quick eject. These are all wonderful. The sights are good, and the barrels are fantastic as well. These are really good. The big thing is the receivers need to be changed to make sense, and that's how it should go. And the sniper rifles could function the same way. Let's look at my bad touch here. So here's my receivers. I'm using the 50 receiver because you do, and all these are automatic, these are all bolt action. I should be able to get a semi-auto as well, but they don't have it. Fine. And of course, you always use a 50 receiver because it does the most damage, and you don't care. 153 is pretty good. So yeah, and miniguns. Miniguns should have more caliber options as well. Can you imagine a 308 minigun? That thing would weigh a ton. It'd be like a 70-pound weapon. But if you hit somebody with it, they'd feel it. And gun weight should also be based on the caliber of the firearm to a point. To a point. So anyways, number 3 should be, the number 3 is ammo crafting. And that's a big beef of mine, because if we look here again, this is what I was complaining about. I have a hardened piercing auto receiver. Somehow, slapping a piece of metal onto a frame makes it so I can pierce armor with my gun. That's not how it works. The ammo type is armor piercing, not the gun itself. We need to be able to make ammunition for firearms if we want auto piercing. And at the same time, that would allow me to make radiation bullets. Maybe I need to use depleted uranium. Or I could use some sort of special incendiary rounds. Or I could produce what are called hot rounds, which are rounds that use more powder. That'd be freaking cool. Let me change the damage. You know, don't, for example, sorry, this is just something that's really near and dear to me. For example, the damage changes on these, there should be no damage change. 38 should always do 52 points of damage. Or whatever it is, based on commando. So reduced commando, so that should always do 26 points of damage. 308 should always do 60 points of damage. No matter what it's in. Because it's a standard bullet, and it's the player's ability that makes it better. If you're going with an automatic, you're going to have to be really on target if you're using 308 rounds, because it's going to kick like a mule. If you're using a 38, you can spray and pray, and it's not, because it's a smaller caliber. And perhaps with ammo, and here's an idea, make ammo effective at greater ranges. A 38 round is a pistol round. I'm sure somebody at some point has put 38 caliber into a bullet or into a rifle round, put more powder, etc., and fired at the rifle. They do it with 45s. Or actually, there's firearms that take 45 rounds and use them that are pistol rounds normally and put them through a gun. I mean, this thing normally does it. 45 rounds, not exactly the way it works, but that's how it goes. So, make the 308 rounds great at any range. Make the 45s and make it a distance thing. Maybe you only find these, maybe this fires in 38, and one of the first mods you can make, or this starts off at 45, and the first mod you make is a 38 round. So it's a good gun, but it's only good at shorter ranges. And yes, you can put, so if you put on the longer rifle, it's going to extend, it will, by just using physics alone, lengthen the range at which 38 rounds are effective, and the 45 rounds, and the 308, etc. So actually, if the ammo has different ranges of play where it's better and worse at, it'll actually make all the firearms feel very different. Anyways, that's for that. That's part of ammo crafting right there. So for energy weapons, let's look at these guys. Let's just grab the laser pistol because this guy's pretty cool looking. Okay, first off, let's just go to the grips. You go to comfort grip and it improves the recoil. Why does an energy weapon have recoil? This is number 4, energy weapon crafting, if I haven't said so already. Energy weapons have no recoil. There is no exchange going on. Firearms work by basically the gas explodes and it pushes the bullet out of the barrel. And the reason it has such velocity is you are increasing the velocity of the bullet coming out of the barrel because you're not moving. And all the energy gets expended out the front of the gun with the bullet. And it uses kinetic damage. So there's an actual, for every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction. That's why it has recoil, because it's the kick as the explosion happens. And the kick is the bullet being thrown out of the front of the gun, and you're cushioning it so everything's thrown out of the front of the gun. There's no recoil. There's no action happening here. You're emitting light rays that technically don't even have weight. And it's energy. It's technically, I'm sure it has weight on a subatomic level, but enough for recoil? What? No. No. And even if you look at, say, an automatic weapon, this automatic laser gun that uses 3 barrels and spins, surely that causes some sort of oscillation. No. It spins, a 3-barrel spin.
Most people are good at breaking things. I enjoy putting them back together.
It spins, which actually creates what's called a gyroscopic effect, which stabilizes the weapon. There's no kick. Now, you could say plasma weapons have a kick, but even that's debatable because it's just releasing a big ball of fiery, energy, and that may have a little bit of weight. But realistically, if you think about it, it's like a containment chamber that you're just opening one end and you use magnets to let whatever escapes shoot out in the front in one direction and focus it. So there should be no recoil on energy weapons, ever. Which is probably something I'll be modding in as soon as I can get the hands on the creation kit. So at the same time, where is this guy? Maybe it's not this guy. There is an armor-piercing. Where is this guy? All right, I have lost it. Maybe it's in the muzzle. Okay, I'm just being a derp. Anyways, I thought there was piercing on these guys. Huh. I thought there was armor. Ooh, this is embarrassing. Anyways, there should never be armor piercing on an energy weapon, although plasma weapons should be by nature armor piercing. Just because it's a big ball of fiery sun stuff that you've hit somebody with, and that melts through anything. What you should be able to do for ammo crafting with laser guns is this is how you should apply elemental effects. It should not be a beta wave tuner that applies burning damage. It should be well, actually, yes, this is fine. I was going to say you do it by ammo, but that's not really, doesn't make any sense. Like this guy, burning damage, this should apply radiation damage. It should be, unless you're going to turn someone into a Hulk, it should be a boosted neutron wave emitter. It should be able to apply radiation. And maybe you can make some sort of, how do I put it, elemental effect. And maybe you could jury rig something to use cryo ammo. I don't know. Las weapons are pretty good with the exception of recoil. I don't have a big complaint about energy weapons. I don't use them a lot because I found firearms to be fantastic. But that's just me. So I think that's really, that's the crafting right there. So let's get out of here by hitting the wrong button again. There's too many different ways out of too many different areas. So let's move to armor. And this is just, get out of the way, dog. So These are all my power armor suits. Hello, power armor. So what changes do I think should be made to armor? Well, they're fairly simple. Power armor should be a lot beefier. Let's go here. Come on. There we go. So let's look at Raider armor. This is still some beefy crap. Yeah, I've got 82 fusion cores. Bite me. I collect them, and they're like Pokemon cards. So if you look the health... Now, admittedly, this is salvaged. But this should still be twice as much health. This is the maxed Raider power armor, period. Maxed. The damage is kind of crap, and that's okay. I understand because, again, it's salvaged power armor. But power armor, as well as combat armor, metal armor, power armor, combat armor, metal armor, and Raider armor should all have a little bit of damage threshold as well as resist. They're hard armors that are meant to stop stuff. It's not like leather armor, which cushions the blows. Leather armor should actually have a lot more energy resist, more than it does already. The same with synth armor. But the other three, and synth armor could have a little bit of damage threshold because it is a solid armor. Never mind if you wear it, it doesn't look that solid. You and your various pieces of PVC piping. But for power armor should have double to 4 times the hit points. Based on the model, the T45 armor should have more armor than, for example, this guy. Where'd he go? Here we go. This guy being the most basic set of armor and the bucket head. This guy should have the second. Yeah, I've been using it. I've been getting shot at. But I mean, it still doesn't have a lot of armor health. And even if, if I haven't upgraded it really because I didn't want to burn the aluminum and the adhesive. But this should, right off the bat, that shouldn't be 80 health. That should be 160, 240, 3 times. Damage resist should be 3 times that. It's power armor. And it should have a damage threshold. I mean, this stuff, and, okay, there needs to be a lot less suits of power armor in the Wasteland. I'm telling you, this stuff should be rare. Okay, we've got the jetpack with the jetpack, which is hilarious, pretty useless to me. But okay, let's look at this one. Maxed. Still 215 health. This should be like 600. I should be... The only thing I should fear are guys with the Fat Men and the rocket launchers. And even the Fat Men aren't that big a deal unless they hit me directly. Rocket launchers should be the nutcracker to crack this nut. That's what rocket launchers are for. And armor-piercing rounds. And armor-piercing rounds should reduce the damage threshold. And that's the way it should work. So these guys need to be beefier. Combat armor needs to be beefier. Let's go and look at my combat armor because it's pretty exciting. This is so slow to work. So this is what I'm wearing. And this should be, let's get into the sun, the light, and this looks beefy. It has no damage threshold. It should. It absolutely should. And that would actually make, and the combat armor should be heavier. I can sneak in power armor. I shouldn't be able to sneak in power armor. There should be no sneaking in power armor. I can. As well as armor, the heavier an armor, supposedly the harder it is to sneak. This is the shadowed heavy combat armor. Doesn't matter. Although I'll be honest, the stealth game in this game is fantastic. The stealth mechanic in this game is actually pretty good, except for the sneaking and power armor part. And for the last bit of power armor, what it needs is if you pocket some... First off, Raider armor should be treated completely different from power armor. I can understand this having a very low damage threshold because, I mean, come on, look at the big hole there. There's a lot... Well, that was neat. I was not aware Mr. Valentine could levitate. Thank you for showing me that. Are you brushing it? I don't want to know. Anyways, so if the armor is pocketed, pockets should show up. And for the Raider armor, power armor, you should be able to pocket everything. Everything should be pocketable on this guy. And if I make it, because Raiders are looters. I have the calibrated legs, which increase the weight limit. But at the same time, I should be able to pocket this. And this thing should just be covered with bags and various, like a big power armor backpack, junk, and all kinds of stuff. It'd be very flavorful and very, very worthwhile. These guys, not so much. You shouldn't be able to pocket the military armor suits, but certainly the Raider suit, because there's no reason to wear this other than cosmetic reasons. So yeah, basically, that's it. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching, and I appreciate you being here. And this one, these items really caught my fancy, and I thought I should put them out to the community and as well to Bethesda. I suppose I'll throw a mention up on Twitter or something. Of course, that means I'd have to sign up on Twitter first. So we'll get something out there, because I'd really like Bethesda to see this, because a lot of these are sensible changes as well as quality of item changes, and specifically the settlement stuff and the crafting stuff, because those really make a lot more sense, and suspension of disbelief is easier if the little details are normal. So anyways, again, thank you for joining me. My name is Adelsbro Faith, and whoo, it's been a long one. So I hope to see you again in the future. Have a good night, and bye-bye.